Hello, brothers and sisters. It's a new week, and we are very happy to introduce you to our show titled Speak of Africa. If this is the first time you're watching Speak of Africa, we thank you very much for watching our show, and we're encouraging you to hit the subscribe button so that each week when we have a new show, you can get it without any interruption. If you are already a subscriber, we say thank you very much for subscribing to our show. We thank you for your confidence. We thank you for your trust. And we're asking you to continue watching this show, continue sharing the show with your friends and family. This week, we have a whole lot of news available we want to share with you. First, we'll look at the international community. The rivalry between America and China. The rivalry between America and Russia. They are making a lot of headlines. Of course, the war in Ukraine rages on. But this week, China sent a balloon to spy on the US. It has really made a whole lot of news. So superpower politics is what is happening. How does this affect Africa? Well, it affects Africa in the sense that the war in Ukraine is causing a whole lot of hunger. We have a lot of hunger. Our people need food. They cannot feed themselves because their leaders depend on food from Ukraine and Russia. So this is sad. We've been preaching self-sufficiency in agriculture. But how many leaders are listening? Most of them decide to just behave like the Cosa Nostra, the mafia. When you look at the way most countries are ruled in Africa, the rulers are like Cosa Nostra, the Sicily mafia that came from Italy, the island of Sicily. That's how a lot of them are. So we're going to really talk about the rule of law, jungle justice, the way it applies in Africa. The people are suffering because there is no justice, there's no rule of law. We're going to focus attention on this issue today. We'll start with Ambazonia. Last week, we told you that because of the failure of the Canadian peace talks, there has been an escalation of violence in Ambazonia. La République has continued sending its militia to go and kill people in Ambazonia, and the people too are resisting La République. They look at La République like La Cosa Nostra, a cabal, a criminal syndicate. So they don't want this criminal syndicate to continue exploiting their resources. Today, we also got news that Adolphe Muriqi of SNL, that's the Société Nationale des Hydrocarbures, that's the oil company refinery in La République du Cameroon. This guy has been a staunch supporter of Paul Biya, and he has kicked the bucket, and our people are really happy he's gone because they look at him like a bad guy who is stealing from them. But when we look at Ambazonia, what is really happening? There's been escalation of violence. The people think that they have finally understood that the Biya government does not want to negotiate with the people of Ambazonia. As a result, they have decided to escalate the degree of violence. They have been using IEDs. They have been breaking into a lot of army camps and wreaking havoc to show pain to the occupying forces from La République du Cameroon. On a major note, we want to share our sympathy for the death of General Transporter.
The 29th of January 2023, General Transporter life. General Transporter life. General Transporter life. General Transporter life. General Transporter. They come soon. Your enemy, they come soon. No. General Transporter life. Yes. Life. No shoot.
So, yes, the Southern Cameroon Defense Force. So KDF, just one of many. Transport alive. Yes, ready or that. Yes, we'll show them wish. Want to see the back? Yeah? We'll fall out. So she shake no day. She shake no day. Yes. Yes. Transport alive. I say she shake no day. She shake no day. She shake no day. They worry na worry. And that's all today, 29 of January 2023. The transport alive. Just one of many of the APLC. Live.
General Transporter dies just a few hours ago, and some of you sent us this information. So we want to share our sympathy for this fallen hero. Our people keep saying, why did he die? Well, General Transporter is just one in many. La République du Cameroon thinks that if they kill a general from Ambazonia, they're going to end the war. But this is the mistake, the fallacy that exists. When General Transporter dies, somebody replaces him. That's the sad reality of this struggle in Ambazonia. You remember General Ivor, right? People were saying, oh, when General Ivor dies, it will be the end of the Ambazonian revolution. No, a new person takes his place. Oh, when Field Marshal of Libya dies, the struggle will end. Has the struggle ended? No. New people come up to take their places. So we just want to share the video of General Transporter. You guys sent us this video an hour ago, and we want to share it with the public. Take a minute and watch the video of General Transporter. He's talking to his people on the Manfe Kumba Road. Watch General Transporter.
To the enemy, the Republic, like to be informal, now for our own dirty men, because we will know the fear, we know nothing. We don't give our life, we stand up for all now. And we know them, some of them different our brothers and sisters then. So we stand up, any man, those one who don't get away, they stock us, so I give strictly respect them. Well, the Republic military come, it tells someone they use now for shield. For someone enter inside their convoy, make them say I'm going to do pack out. Because the days are very bloody. Don't deny Canada negotiation. We don't decide to negotiate on this road and inside town. We negotiate for their very opposite. We don't fear them. They don't collect today, they go, they come with their back up for here, they still come again, they collect, they run. Don't run, they abandon our road. For say, will help on for peace. But one make and say, me, they go come back again, they can't take on a pass museum. Therefore, say, I don't look on a small people for here. I'll give another permission to open this road to make all on a pass. I beg now for collaboration. Any man way choose to say they informal, you do not how, don't take nothing for this. Yes, we will hold God, they get God. Now the capacity they are equal. The only two is different, but we not say the enter is what you want to enter. Yes, but with this time, so thank you now.
Thank you for watching the video of General Transporter. You see that there are many other videos showing action by restoration forces in Ambazonia. You have action in Bui. Okay, take a look at the action in Bui.
I want your life, live life. Agenda I want you with picking them to come. Agenda I want your life. Nafisiam,
Then you have so many other videos of violence. The guys are just going crazy. They are getting angry with the recalcitrance of La République du Cameroon.
Today, na Tuesday, 31st January 2023. That Republic goes and then they pass, then they want pass so. That food and we want show them some small thing today. Yeah. You have to look am. Una look am fine. I want that so. I want that so. Now second that. Number 2. Now number 3 that. So now the same. And number 4 that so. Now number 4. We'll wait for number 5 now so. I hate this. Get for you.
So it's like a ploy. Finally, the guys have understood that they have to unite and face the evil of La République du Cameroon.
Yeah, this is Colonel Big Shark. We are about to demonstrate, so we are at Mbiame. 2023, January 2023. We are about to demonstrate at Mbiame. Voila. This is a Omega 201 from Big Vulture. Yeah.
Là, yo ma, lève-toi ma, bois ma. Voilà bien. Voilà. C'est moi là. C'est moi là bien.
They've understood now that people like Ferdinand ngoh-ngoh and Paul Biya are people who love blood. Paul Atanganji, they are war profiteers. They will never want this war to end because they are making money from it. So the people now have understood that they have to take the fight to La République. So the fight has been raging on. People are just avenging the death of General Transporter. So you can see a lot of action on the ground. IEDs are used, a lot of explosives are used. So the armies from La République, which I call a militia, is really having a tough time dealing with the restoration forces of Ambazonia. The way we look at it, La République is wasting its time. Eventually, they will be forced to come to the negotiating table. After all the foot dragging, the backpedaling, they will be forced to come to the negotiation table. I understand La République du Cameroon does not want to lose an inch of all the wealth they are stealing from Ambazonia, because La République du Cameroon operates just like a cabal. This is a crime syndicate. There is no justice. Today we're even going to present Laurent Esso, who is the Minister of Justice in La République du Cameroon. But where can there be a Minister of Justice when he is the top criminal in the regime? Go back to the killing of Martinez Zogo. Finally, we've understood and we've had proof that Laurent Eso is the one who ordered the hit. So Laurent Eso is just like an undercover boss for the mafia. The big boss of the mafia is Paul Biya himself. The country of La République du Cameroon is run just like the Sicilian mafia, which they call Cosa Nostra. Okay? They make money from crime. They kill people who talk. They intimidate their enemies. They silence them. If they cannot silence them, they bribe them. Which is why there is a lot of moral depravity in this part of the world, because the people are gullible. They live off the government. Even the journalists, they have to take sides. Now, Mr. Biya is aging and is about to kick the bucket. So people are jockeying for power. There is a whole succession shuffle going on. You have many camps, as we've told you, but you have some of those patriarchs of this government, like Laurent Eso. He's the one who ordered a hit on Martin Zogo. And we've kept the memory of Martin Zogo alive because we want you to know who is responsible for this crime. Paul Biya has tried to give the impression that he wants to investigate the crime, but this is a crime committed by the state of La République du Cameroon. So the state is a criminal. When a state becomes a criminal, how can you have the rule of law? The rule of law cannot be there. Today, we also receive information about Mebengo. Mebengo used to be the Minister of Defense of La République du Cameroon. But because he was suspected to begin preparing to commit some crimes and take power from Mr. Paul Biya, he was arrested and thrown into Congo prison. After so many months of staying in the dungeon of Condengi, Mebengo has been accused of theft. He's been sentenced to 30 years imprisonment, okay, with his wife. They claim they've stolen so much from the government, from the people of La République du Cameroon. But it looks like when he was stealing, when he was in the good graces of Mr. Paul Biya, Mr. Paul Biya did not really care about his crimes. Mr. Paul Biya cares about crimes only when he feels you are threatening his hold on power. It was suspected that Mr. Paul Biya was worried that Mebengo might organize a coup d'etat and take power from him. That's when Ferdinand ngoh-ngoh asked for Mebengo to be arrested. So you see, this is a devilish government. La République du Cameroon only arrests people when Paul Biya's power is threatened. And so you can see that the killing of Martinez Zogo has exposed the Paul Biya government, because a lot of the top guys have been arrested because of this fake investigation. But is a real investigation going to take place? We don't think so. Mr. Paul Biya thinks he's going to fool the international community, but we are telling you we're not going to let him fool the international community. We're going to keep exposing the truth about the criminal actors in La République du Cameroon. So we're going to make you see that these are bad guys and they need to be treated as bad guys. These guys are not different from the members of the crime family of Cosa Nostra from Sicily, Italy. They are the same. They kill for money. They're just like you have the cartel, the drug cartels, the Medellin cartel. This is the way the Paul Biya regime functions. It's like a cartel. They kill their enemies. Even reverend fathers are killed. You remember when they killed Farabala? Mveng was killed. So they kill all these people because they don't want them to talk. So that's just the sad thing about this Biya regime. And we're here to expose all of this so that you guys can see it. In fact, we're really happy with you guys on social media. You are really sharing a lot of this information with us, and we're happy you are sharing all this information with us. But we can tell you, we are sure that Ambazonia is gone. Ambazonia does not want to be part of this La République anymore. Even in La République, you can see that the Francophones too have started protesting. If you look at the embassy of La République du Cameroon in Belgium and other places in Europe, the guys are staging protests. Take a minute and watch the Francophone protests in Belgium and other places.
Justice pour Martinez Zogo, doucement, tout doucement. Justice pour Martinez Zogo.
Ouais, mon pays, mon pays. Ouais, mon pays. Au col, le Cameroun.
Justice pour Martinez Zogo. Justice pour Martinez Zogo.
Et voilà Ekanga, hein. Voilà Ekanga.
Justice pour Martinez Zogo.
Oui, on va aller, mais on prend d'abord.
Justice pour Martinez Zogo. La diaspora combattante camerounaise, unie aujourd'hui à la place de Trocadéro à Paris.
Thank you very much. Now we move to Burkina Faso.
Do you need tax preparation services? We can help. Contact PJ Tax Service, America's only full-time income tax preparers. Like the good old doctor, we do not close our doors after April 15th. In fact, we stay open all year round in order to serve you. We are located at 11207A, Lockwood Drive, Silver Spring, Maryland, 20901. Make an appointment today with Prince Ojong, your tax expert. Call 240-350-1131 or visit us on the web at www.pjtaxservice.com.
Burkina Faso has been in the news recently, and almost every week we've been telling you what is happening in this part of the world. First, the junta is not really having it easy dealing with jihadism. They have been trying to use the French as a scapegoat, but how long is scapegoating going to help them? That's the question on a lot of inquiring minds. This week, the junta continues announcing that they've kicked out the French military for good, but how is this changing the problems with the jihadis on the ground? We think Ibrahim Traoré should focus on jihadist actors in the country, how to resolve this issue. Making the French a scapegoat, replacing the French with Russia is not really going to help him. It is just like putting a band-aid on a serious wound that you're having on your wrist, okay? So it's not going to help you. So we think Ibrahim Traoré is not really thinking straight. We don't really know who are his advisors, because another coup is going to happen in Burkina Faso very soon, because a lot of civilians were killed for no good reason, because the government of Ibrahim Traoré was trying to protect the guys from the mines. Mines, that's where all the money is coming from. So they don't want the people to talk. So when you open your mouth, they kill you. So this is very, very sad. And we can tell you, things will not all go well in Burkina Faso until there is a return to normalcy. So just kicking out the French is not a solution. Ibrahim Traoré needs to come up with a way to deal with the problem of jihadis in the country. You have to negotiate with your brothers and sisters. Just using the power of the gun is not enough. And this is what we can tell you. Okay? Now there is talk of creating a federation between Mali and Burkina Faso. That's not really solving the problem. Go to the roots of the problem of jihadist activity in that country. Same thing like in Mali. So most of these guys are playing politics instead of coming up with solutions to their people's problems. Next, we take you to Burundi. Burundi is a government where you have a lot of Hutus, and they are neighbors of Rwanda, where you also have Tutsis and Hutus. But for the first time, President Evariste of Burundi is trying to create an environment where there can be peace between Rwanda and Congo DRC. For many months now, we've been telling you about the actions of M23 rebels and terrorists in the eastern part of Congo DRC. And the international community has understood that Paul Kagame is the sponsor of M23. This whole movement has been approached, and we've asked them to stop creating conflict in this part of the world. So even Paul Kagame has been on a hot seat. We told you this last week. Things are not easy for him, so he has to try to change things. So we're going to see the way the East African community is going to meet in Burundi and try to look for solutions to the problems in the eastern part of Congo. So let's see, let's hope for peace. Next, there is bright hope in Ethiopia. Since the peace truce was announced, we think things have been working fairly well in Ethiopia. Tigray and the government of Abiy Ahmed, I think they have been working together to make things work for the people of Ethiopia. This week, we see that the banking sector is returning to the Tigray area so people can have services from the banks. So this is a positive sign. And there's a lot of normalcy. Even the Ethiopian Airlines is going to start flying back to the Tigray area. So we welcome this. Whenever there is a problem, let us look for ways to work as brothers and sisters. That's our message. So we welcome the peace effort in Ethiopia. It should be probably like a model in other parts of the world. For example, La République du Cameroon should try to make peace with the people of Ambazonia. This would be a good thing for Africa. Next, we take you to Nigeria. Nigeria is hosting presidential elections on the 25th of February. That's in probably 3 weeks. So how are things? Well, we will tell you that things are not really going well. The big-time politicians like Bola Tinubu, Atiku Abubakar, and Peter Obi, they are campaigning, spending a lot of money to win the hearts and minds of the people. But the underlying problems of the country remain. People are not talking about these problems, but the problems are there. So this week, even though we told you that there is the introduction of new Naira notes, but this has become like a major problem. There's an issue of scarcity and hoarding. A lot of the bank presidents are using this as a way to enrich themselves. New notes are supposed to be issued and the people are supposed to get their hands on these new notes. But the new notes have become scarce. Boko Haram even declared that they already have the new notes. By contrast, the people on the streets do not have the new notes. So life is tough. How are they going to buy fuel? How are they going to buy food when they don't have the new notes? That's the problem. So this is fueling a lot of crisis and protests in the country. Today, we saw a video from Owo, Ibadan, where the people are protesting because they've had it up to here. Okay? The bank presidents are making deals with the politicians to collect money from the bank and fund their campaigns. But the poor people on the street, they queue on long lines waiting to get new currency, new notes. They will not get these new notes because they don't have money to bribe the bank presidents. So that's the sad part of Nigeria. That's Nigeria for you, okay? The people are suffering. They are suffering in silence, right? As fella used to say. You can see another video, which we're going to share with you, which shows the way the people are protesting.
You can never have scarcity of naira notes.
Yes.
You want this naira note. But you make up with everything again. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough.
In the bank, waiting to collect.
So that's just what is happening. So how is the election going to take place? We saw the action of the Electoral Commission. They are planning, testing their stuff to see how the elections can go well. So do we hope for a free and fair election? It remains to be seen. Next, we'll take you to Somalia.
Have you heard the latest healthcare news? There's been a medical programming breakthrough. Let's go to Ali and Ron for more.
Thanks, Seb. A Good Samaritan is offering Alexia HTC, a new EMR EHR to doctors for free. Certainly, this free offer will shake things up in the medical software industry. Alexia HTC is a David pitting itself against the Goliaths, Epic, Cerner, and Meditech, which are old and cost too much money. What happens if you figure out how to build a new EMR EHR on the web for pennies on the dollar? You give it away to the suffering physicians for free.
Want to learn more about how these two powerhouse solutions will help you win more business? Schedule a demo below. In just minutes, Alexia HTC can help you access a patient record, enter an order, write a note, prescribe a medication, generate a charge, and create a super bill. Plus, Alexia Care Corporation, the vendor of the new web application, offers full customer service and training support free of charge. Who can beat that?
There's a lot of talk about Al-Shabaab, but we think we want to mirror on Ilhan Omar, the U.S. Congressperson from Minnesota. She's an immigrant, a refugee from Somalia. This week, she's been in the news because McCarthy has tried to eject her from a foreign committee, committee of the House. And this has been big news because they are expelling her from it. She's saying they're expelling her because she is a Muslim and she's a woman. But it looks like when we look at the comments on social media, a lot of Africans do not seem to like her. I don't really understand why not. They were really criticizing her, and they think the comments she makes in public are not really positive. And she tries to wrap herself around the image of Mama Africa, like Miriam Makeba. But a lot of Africans responded sharply that Ilhan Omar is no Miriam Makeba. Miriam Makeba was a freedom fighter for Africa. By contrast, they look at her just like an opportunist, and they think her character is flawed. But it remains to be seen because we cannot judge her. This is just what people were saying on social media about her, and we think they don't really like her that much. So what are we going to say about this? We say we reserve our comments and we allow you to speak and express yourself. What do you think she should do? If you were in her position, what would you do? Next, we take you to South Africa. This is where we're going to end our show of today. South Africa has been in news because of their pro stance. South Africa is pro-Russia. Just remember, South Africa is part of the BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. That's what BRICS stands for. BRICS is an organization that tends to work as a counterweight to the West, okay? But they don't really have the economic clout that the West has. And you have to understand that from colonial days, Russia, first as the Soviet Union, was part of the liberation movement in South Africa. So Russia has always had ties with South Africa, dating back to those colonial days. They provided weapons to the ANC, so they are very close to the government of Cyril Ramaphosa. Even though the West does not like this closeness, but Cyril Ramaphosa has maintained close ties with Russia. Sometimes he backpedals and tells you that, oh no, he's neutral. But the West knows that he's not neutral. We spoke to you a few weeks ago about the planned naval exercises. The West would expect South Africa to do more to distance herself from Russia. But Cyril Ramaphosa is not doing that. He's following probably in the footsteps of Nelson Mandela. When Nelson Mandela came out of jail, he was criticized for being friendly with Fidel Castro, Muammar Gaddafi, and other guys in Africa. But he said that, listen, these guys may be your enemy, but they were our friends. That's what Nelson Mandela said at the time. Cyril Ramaphosa is following suit. He wants to maintain close ties with Russia, even though the West doesn't like these ties. So how are things going to end up? It remains to be seen. But before we end the show of today, we want to remind you that we have a channel that we created called afrizi.com. We created this channel to make it easy for Africans to have their own network, just like Facebook, where they can share ideas. afrizi.com. afrizi.com. Please inform your friends about afrizi.com. We've noticed that many of you have started taking advantage of this free network for Africans, created by Africans for Africans. So go back, afrizi.com, afrizi.com. Take advantage of this network because you need it. Tomorrow, Facebook will be banning you, just the way they ban me. So don't wait until you are banned. Come to a channel where you can express yourself without fear of censorship. afrizi.com. Bye-bye, afrizi.com.
Medical practice software is too old. Indeed, all the programs are built on MUMPS, technology of the 1950s, and the programs cost too much money. Epic and Cerner cost billions of dollars. Meditech costs thousands of dollars too. In fact, that's why we created AlexiaHTC.com, a new and free EMR/EHR for doctors. AlexiaHTC.com is built for HIPAA. Yes, magical one-screen technology, ease of use, quick charting, amazing e-prescribing, tight labs integration, multi-office difference, because we believe doctors and patients need a break today. Be the first to test drive AlexiaHTC.com. You have nothing to lose, you have everything to gain. Act now. Call 240-350-1131. Alexia Care Corporation at AlexiaHTC.com.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.